There's a real focus from both the government in New South Wales and the opposition, because we're just months away from the election, on Western Sydney, because this is a battleground.
It is, and it's fun. You can always tell when there's an election coming because Western Sydney's the flavour of the month for both sides. And this is where we need to be very careful and we need to investigate every single promise made by both sides. And we need to look at the track record of what they've delivered while they're in government and also what has happened before. So they blame each other for breaking promises when, they both do it. So we need to go back and say, what did they do? Did I agree with it? Did they support small business? Did they support women? If so, then I will vote for them. If not, don't.
Because Western Sydney, and it's replicated in other big cities like Melbourne, the heartbeat of the country in so many ways.
It is essentially holding up the entire country, and I will say that, and regional. I say they're the two areas that really do hold up this country. And also they get taken for granted. So they get flattered a lot during election time, but then they get ignored when they're in government and people have to fight for it. We've looked at lockdowns and what happened to Western Sydney during that time. They were pretty much ignored and treated, like second-class citizens. So we need to make sure that we demand the respect. So how we do that is when we vote. It could be, we've currently Western Sydney women doing a survey, a bit of research on who they're voting for and what's important to women. And they want to see more females in government, but they also, cost of living is still number one priority and it's going up. So they can't be promising they're going to spend lots of money in the region. They actually need to be finding ways that women will be paid the same, but also how can they cut costs?
Yeah, we want to look with positivity to 2023, but cost of living is going to get more difficult, isn't it? Particularly in and around those younger people that might have taken those honeymoon rates on the interest rates and they're dropping off into this enormous amount of extra cost.
That's right, and we haven't seen this since our great-grandparents type thing, or our grandparents, and we need to learn to change how we live, but also women in particular need to stand up a little bit more, work together and community-based, which they're brilliant at doing, but in general, the cost of living is going up. So when it comes to election time, the questions you need to ask your local MP and the people that are running, what are you going to do to cut my costs, cut the electricity costs, living costs, what are you going to do to help us function and survive this year?
Finally, you flicked me an article, Quiet Hiring.
Yes.
Tell me about quiet hiring.
So,
I read it, but you tell us.
It's a great way of large companies to be sneaky by dumping on their current staff with more work. So it's quiet hiring like, hey, you're really good at what you do, so how about I give you 3 more jobs and it's a great opportunity for you, and so you're overloaded. And it's because of the staff shortages and so forth. Instead of actually seeing it as a career pathway internally, saying, if you do more, we'll pay you more. So it's just a sneaky way. You remember redundancies got called downsizing? So this is a nice way of saying, we're going to give you more work to do, but we're not going to pay you anymore.
Yeah, at least with the redundancies, they came with money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if anyone does offer you more work, ask for more money.
Absolutely. Amanda, we will chat soon.
Thank you.
Amanda Rose.